Went to my first RESA meeting as our board representative. Ms. Powell and Ms. Lucas put me on the spotlight off. As soon as I looked at my agenda, I said, look, they're going to make sure I'm paying attention. But Trish and I did go last week. And we went to the Marshall campus in South Charleston, or Charleston, wherever that is there. And we had our RESA 2 meeting. Just a couple of things of interest, because many of the topics that they discussed were kind of Greek to me. I'm trying to catch up to speed with the things they're talking about. But one thing there, the State Department representative talked about were the state budget reductions and how this Department of Education's been affected by that. And I forget if it's 30 or 40 positions they haven't filled, if I remember correctly, something like that, and they don't plan to. And then they're foreseeing the possibility, maybe even of additional cuts for education. But at this point, at least, they haven't affected our level, the local level, but they are affecting the state agencies and the State Department. So that was one of the things talked about. The other thing I recall was there was some discussion about cooperative purchasing. And although this is something that's been going on for many years, and the savings potential there, and I don't know which area it was, but I know in one, we were the only county that was participating in our region of the 6 counties. So I thought that was a good thing, that we were the only one that was really doing that. But there's more and more of a push, and I know there were meetings being scheduled there, and Dan may be involved in some of those, where the county representatives want to meet and continue to do some of those cooperative things to save money, which, you know, for a couple of decades now, it seems like that's what Greece has been working towards. Then another thing that they talked quite a bit about was some vocational related opportunities and college courses, this EDGE program of ways that students can take courses, get college credit, and work towards them, and that's a way of an incentive to get them in certain programs. And I know Mr. Wilkerson in particular talked about vocational a lot, and we need to address that. So those were the highlights that I recall. I don't know if there's anything else that you think of.
No, those were the 3 big things that they covered. Mr. Midkiff and I will be going to another meeting in Wyoming County early next month to have more discussion on the Senate Bill 436, which covered the CTE, the EDGE credits, and we're kind of in a consortium of, we work with Southern Community College. Part of our RESA actually works with Mount West Community College, but we, along with Logan, Mingo, McDowell, Wyoming, and Boone, all are in with Southern. So we'll be getting more information, but we believe we're on the right track, with what we're doing with the EDGE credits. So.
Okay. Anybody have any other comments?
I have
Mr. Curry.
I have a question. I had a discussion once simply on the agenda, but Dana probably can answer. I saw in that state audit that the government had done on education, they was talking about using a computer to map bus routes. Do we do that here on Ray, Dana? We used to. We don't do it anymore?
And a lot of the rural counties have found that it really doesn't benefit them much when you just got the type of roads we've got, one way in and one way out. It tends to benefit the cities like Cabell County, Knoll County. It tends to benefit those type areas more so than rural. As there have been some other rural counties that have done it. We did it, like you said, one time.
Yeah, we used to.
Didn't change anything, and it didn't improve the system.
I know some of it didn't show the railroad tracks, or I remember when we first started, it was across.
Yeah, it wasn't very successful here.
Thank you.
The bond discussions, I know you were probably talking about it in an executive session, but in terms of what I have been reporting, it's been much quieter the last 4 weeks. Is there going to be action in the next meeting or two? More definitive action, about the bond? It's just I hadn't seen the 2 gentlemen here in quite some time.
Well, I think we're at the point now where we're at the property
Okay.
level, and of course, that's what we were talking about.
Uh-huh.
We have to have a fairly good estimate of what the property costs are going to be before we can proceed to the next level.
Okay.
Because the Board of Education, the county, will be responsible for the cost of the
Mhm.
property. So those are, and that will have to be stated in the bond call.
Okay.
So that's really the step that we're trying to take now. And once we get to that point, and Dana's here, he can add if need be, but once we know that, we'll know what cost could be placed in the bond call. And I think at that point, the architects and eventually the SBA representatives would come and discuss it with us.
But are we still looking at December, or are we pushing toward January for a vote?
We're still hopeful that.
For December.
December vote.
Okay. That's,
That's a good way. Enrollment, are we up, down, or do we have a feel for our enrollment this year?
We think we're up a little. We have some preliminary numbers, but as you know, with the attendance policy, we're not allowed to drop students, even if they're not there physically, until we get a request from another county, or we have some kind of documentation, several documentations that we've tried to find the child and that we can't. But the attendance policy will not. So what we're trying to do right now, we're looking at those numbers and we're wanting to verify if the child is actually there versus just the number that is on the enrollment. So we'd be giving you two different numbers. The preliminary numbers right now, it's an increase, but we want to make sure that we actually have those children here.
Well, what does that do to your absentee rate if that child has been officially taken off the list?
You can
It
drop
hurts
it
it.
eventually. But you have to exhaust all efforts to.
Yeah, but today
Then
you
you go
can count
back,
absent.
but you can
right?
go back.
You can go back and
Yeah,
correct.
Oh,
it's
okay.
retroactive once you actually end up with an issue today where we have a student that's in a facility. And we're counting them absent, so I tried to make connections so we can actually get them transferred into where
Yeah.
they need to be, so it will be retroactive. But that's the way the attendance policy.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll adjourn our meeting until September the 4th at 6 o'clock at Lincoln County High School.
I'll move.
Mr. Curry.
Second.
Mr. Wilkerson. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay.